What are the three types of flow indicating systems used for turbine engines? Vane type flow meters, synchronous mass type flow meters, and electronic motorless mass flow meters. What do mass flow systems measure? The mass of the flow. This is affected by the density of the fuel, which is in turn affected by the fuel temperature. In what units is an electronic motorless mass flow meter system calibrated? Pounds per hour of fuel flow. What is indicated in a turbine engine if the fuel flow for all conditions is high? If there are other instruments abnormalities, there are possibly damaged turbine components. Who is authorized to repair a fuel flow indicating system? The components can be repaired only by FAA approved repair station certificated for particular instruments. Where can you find the electrical power requirements for a fuel flow indicating system? In the aircraft maintenance manual. Where in the fuel system is the fuel flow transmitter located? Between the fuel control and the fuel nozzles. What kind of indicating system is used to measure oil temperature in a small single-engine general aviation airplane? A sealed system in which a bulb, partially filled with a highly volatile liquid, is installed inside the oil strainer. The bulb is connected to a pressure gauge by a copper tube. The pressure of the gas above the liquid is proportional to the temperature of the oil that surrounds the bulb, and the pressure gauge is calibrated in terms of temperature. What type of instrument is used for measuring the cylinder head temperature and exhaust gas temperature? A thermocouple system. What kind of electrical instrument system is used for measuring oil temperature? A ratiometer type system. What should a thermocouple cylinder head temperature indicator read when the engine is cold? The same as the outside air temperature gauge. What is critical in the installation of the thermocouple leads for a cylinder head temperature indicator? The length of the leads or their resistance. The resistance is critical and must have the resistance specified on the indicator. This is usually 2 or 8 ohms. What should a ratiometer temperature indicator read when the electrical power is off? The pointer should be off scale on the low side. How does a ratiometer type oil temperature gauge measure the temperature of the oil? The ratiometer measures the resistance of the temperature bulb. The indicator is calibrated in degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius rather than in ohms. What kind of tachometer is used on most small single-engine airplanes? A magnetic drag tachometer that is similar to an automobile speedometer. What should likely cause the pointer of a magnetic drag tachometer to oscillate? Either a dry cable connecting the indicator to the engine or a kink in the cable housing. What kind of tachometer is used on most large multi-engine airplanes? A 3-phase AC electric tachometer. What is measured to indicate the engine RPM with a 3-phase AC electric tachometer? The frequency of the AC the tachometer generates produces. What kind of indicator mechanism is used to measure oil pressure? A board-on tube. What kind of indicator mechanism is used to measure manifold pressure? A differential bellows. What should a manifold pressure gauge read when the engine is not operating? The existing barometric pressure as indicated on the altimeter barometric scale when the altimeter pointers are set to the surveyed field elevations. What type of fitting is used to connect the oil pressure gauge to the engine? A fitting with the restrictor that smooths out the pulsations, and should a break occur in the indicator line, prevent a serious loss of engine oil. What is used to fill the line between the fuel pressure gauge and the fuel metering system? A light oil such as kerosene. What could cause a fuel pressure gauge to fluctuate? The loss of the light oil in the line between the gauge and the engine. What is the range of pressure needed for a fuel pressure gauge used with a float carburetor? Normally from 1 to 25 psi. What are the colors used in annunciator indicating systems, and what do they represent? Green indicates a safe condition, yellow indicates a caution alert, and red indicates a warning alert. What does a torque meter measure? Most torque systems use an oil pressure output from a torque valve to indicate actual engine power outputs at various power settings. The torque meter indicates the amount of torque being produced at the propeller shaft. A helical gear moves back and forth as the torque on the propeller shaft varies. This gear, acting on a piston, positions a valve that meters the oil pressure proportionally to the torque being produced. What does the engine pressure ratio indicator measure? The engine pressure ratio is an indication of the thrust being developed by a turbofan engine and is used to set power for takeoff on many types of aircraft. It is instrumented by total pressure pickups in the engine inlet and in the turbine exhaust. What is ICAS? ICAS is an electronic instrument system that monitors airframe and engine parameters and displays the essential information on a video display on the instrument panel. Only vital information is continually displayed, but when the sensed parameters fall outside of the allowable range of operation, they are automatically displaced. What is an engine FADEC system? FADEC is a digital electronic fuel control for a gas turbine engine that is functioning during all engine operations, hence full authority. It includes the EEC and the functions of the flight management computer. FADEC schedules the fuel to the nozzles in such a way that prevents overshooting power changes in over temperature conditions. FADEC furnishes information to the ICAS. What is an ECAM system? ECAM is a system that monitors airframe and engine functions and displays them in flight deck. It can also provide checklists for system failures. What do colors red, green, and yellow indicate on an aircraft instrument or gauge? Red indicates maximum range or limit, green indicates normal operating range, and yellow indicates a caution range.